Hello guys, the front will be a normal C-curved neckline and we'll be cutting this first with the inner before cutting it on the organza fabric. Let's dive into the video. So my fabric will be folded into two. So we're going to start with placing our measurements, and to that I'm going to start by reading my starting point line. So read your starting point line. So we're going to start by placing our neck depth. We're using 2.75 inches for our neck depth. That is 2 3/4. And to that we're going to be sewing it by half of an inch. That means at the end we're having like 3.25 inches for our neck depth. And to this we're going to be placing our neck width as well. We are using 2.5 inches, or we also use 2.75 inches for our neck width, just like we use 3 by 3 for our adults. This for a child of like 10-11 years old. So yeah, we're going to be connecting our points together and we will be covering out our neck. So we're going to place our shoulder measurement divided by 2. Place it and plus 0.5 inches for sewing allowance. Now you're cutting this directly on the fabric. So I'm going to add 0.5 inches for sewing allowance, and to that we're going to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. Then you're going to connect our lines together. And then we're going to be placing our armhole curve. We get our armhole curve, we divide our chest by 6 plus 2. So chest divided by 6 plus 2 inches, giving me almost 8 inches. And to that we're going to be adding half inches for our sewing allowance. That's for joining the shoulder to shoulder and having our armhole. So to get a straight line, I'm going to be measuring what I have at my shoulder length. So measure it out and drop it at just straight to the place you place your marking for armhole. And to that we're going to connecting it together just to get a straight line for, so it to be a guide to ruling out our armhole curve. And so I'm going to be placing our chest divided by 4 inches. So I'm going to place our marking chest divided by 4 inches. Mark what you have there. And so that we're going to be adding 1.5 inches for our seam allowance. So today we're going to be taking out our half lengths, our shoulder to half length measurements. We're going to be adding half an inch to it, and we're going to be easy to join the full length to the half length. So mark your full length and connect them together. So next we're going to be dividing our waist measurement by 4 inches. I'm going to be marking that plus an extra 1.5 inches for our SA, that's sewing allowance or seam allowance. And to that we're going to be connecting it to the chest measurements. So to get our armhole curve, we're going to be dividing our armhole length by 2. So just put your tape and flip it to have the half measurement, and to that I'm going to come in by either 0.5 inches or 0.75. That is usually 0.75 inches for mine. And to that we're going to be connecting it together. Just connect it. If your curve couldn't get the 3 points, just connect from the shoulder to the 0.7 inches you came in by, and then from there to your chest measurement, after which you blend it out. But if you can get the 3 points, good. So just draw your armhole curve and that's it. And so we're going to be cutting it out. Our front is ready. And with this front, we're going to be cutting our back as well. So just cut it out, tracing out the lines that you drew. So onto the back part of the top. So to that, I already folded my fabric into two, and to that, I'm going to place our front pattern, leaving some inches by the side, by the center side for our zipper allowance. And to that, we're going to be adding 1 inches for our zipper allowance. We're going to be adding 1 inches all the way to the top, and we're going to be covering out our armhole, our neck depth, I mean for the back. No, the back and the front neck depth will not be the same. Place my tape, making sure that it's as in that 2.75 inches I will use for our front neck curve, just in place of my tape. And so that I'm trying to get my back neck depth. So the back neck depth is curved, like it's a V curved, it's V shaped. So we're going to be marking out our depth. So I marked out a depth of 5 inches. So after sewing it, I'm going to have 5.5 inches depth. Yeah. That's the half inches for each joining, and that I mark the starting point of my V cord. I just by the starting point of the center pattern. Just wait, that means I'm having extra 1 inch for my sewing allowance from that point. So I want to continue to have my V cord. And then I'm going to be cutting it out. Everything remains the same, the sides, everything remains the same. Have the remaining cuts and the 1 inch the final part. Last zipper allowance. Then we're going to cut it out. And sometimes I'm going to use my chalk to mark the last section. This is the organza material I'm going to be using for this dress. And so that I'm going to be cutting it using our inner that we just cut out. But to that, I'm going to open it up, giving it a good press at first, and then I'm going to be laminating the fabric using our hemming gun. So we're going to be placing our hemming gum at strategic places like the center front, the sides, the neck curve, and then all over the material. Let's place it. Keep placing them as you desire. Trying to laminate the fabric to make it to be a one piece. To avoid that shifting or that, sometimes organza can be hard to work with. Just as you do with your laces. Like, you can do this, adopt this method for your lace too. So if you are sewing a bustier lace, laminate the lace material with the inner. It makes it easier, it makes it stay in one place and makes sewing easier. So to that, we're going to place our organza on top, making sure that the wrong side of the organza is facing the right side of the material, and then we're going to laminate it with our iron. Just give it a press. This will gum the whole the material, the organza material to the inner, make it to be a one-piece dress. So keep on ironing it, make sure that it's stuck together, and the area that is, you found out that the material, the hemming gum didn't reach, try placing it there, and then we're going to be cutting them out. And then for the back of the material too, you're going to be repeating the same thing. Place your hemming gum, and you're going to laminate the fabric as well. Make sure that you're placing it on the right side of the material, that's the right side of this inner. This one hemming gum at the right side of the inner. Make sure that the zipper is facing each other. The zipper allowance side is facing each other to avoid after sewing it, both of them will be one side. You get. So just make sure that you're placing them right. And to that, we're going to place in our organza material and ironing it out to laminate it. Just repeat the same process. After which, you're going to be cutting them out. So I also went ahead to cut out the lining for each piece, exactly as the front pattern. Just cut out your lining, and then we're going to be heading over to the sewing machine to sew. So we're going to start first by turning our neck width and neck depth. We're going to placing the right side of the material to the right side of the lining. I'm going to stitching it down by half of an inch. I'm going to doing that to the two sides of the back and then to the front as well. Turning out your neck by half of an inch. So this is what I have after sewing the neck width, and I've also gone ahead to stop stitch them. And to that I joined the front by this neck, by the shoulder as well. And then for the back I just sewed the neck depth, as you can see, and to this I'm going to be using it to turn out our shoulder to have a neat finishing at the shoulder measurement. You can see the side is still separate. I did that for the two sides of the back, and so now we're going to be, this is the other side of the back as well. You can see how it is. And then to sew the shoulder, I'm going to be placing the right side of the back to the right side of the front, and then making sure that the front, the edges are equal. I'm going to be using my pin to tack that down. So make sure that the edge of the front and back are the same. Then I'm going to be lifting up my lining, the lining for the back. Just look very well. So what I'm doing, lift up the lining for the back, and I'm going to be pinning that down. The front is equal, the edges are equal. I'm pinning that down, and then I'm going to flip that lining to other side, like to the other side. I'm going to see how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to flip it to the other side, and I'm going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. You see, this is make sure that my stitch is inside. So after sewing it, when I flip it back, if you will not be seeing any sewing allowance at the shoulder area. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And then I'm going to head off over to my sewing machine. I'm going to stitch it down by half of an inch that we added for our sewing allowance. I'm going to put in the same thing for the other side as well. So this is what I have after sewing down my shoulder measurement, my shoulder width. And this is what we have. You see what I was trying to achieve, just done is finishing. The sewing allowances are all inside. It's not showing at all, no rough edge. This is what we have. You can adopt this method for your sewing, making your clothes, your dresses. And then we are going to head over to top stitching the lining and the material to be a one piece, after which I'm going to be hemming weaving this gown. When I'm done, I'm going to just stitch it down to be a one piece to get everything out of the way. Then I'm going to measure out my round armhole to know what I have for my armhole, because I'm going to be cutting our sleeve for that as well. So here I'm placing my tapes, slanting it to get my measurement for my armhole. But first of all, let's cut out the down part of our gown so that we can use the remaining material for our sleeve. Get so to this I folded it into four. I folded it the first time, and now and then I folded it again. This is folded into four. So I'm going to cut in a flay for the inner of our gown, like the down part of the dress. You get, so this I folded it into four. Make sure that everything is equal. Then I'm going to be placing my measurements. So to get to your measurement, going to measure out your waist circumference, like what you have at this waist circumference of the upper part. Measure it out and divide it by 6.28. That's how you're going to use to get to your curve, like the waist, the round waist, after folding it into four. So with the tip of your tape being at the tip of the fabric, like that edge that has a fold, keep placing what you got from your division. That's your width divided by 6.28. After which you're going to be connecting them together. So after we have gotten our waist circumference, I'm going to be placing our tape from what we got there, from our waist circumference, to measure out our length of our skirt. So you keep placing your tape just as you place it for when marking your waist circumference. Place it, mark your length, connect it, mark your skirt length and connect it. Until that, you're going to be cutting it out. So to cut our lining, we are going to be folding our lining material just as we folded the skirt into four. And to that, we're going to place what we have on top. And we're going to be cutting it. And it's going to be the lining for the down part. So for the lining length, I reduced it by 1 inch. So that's why I marked the length of the skirts on it. Then took it out, and then I'm marking out, reducing it out by 1 inch so that it won't be showing. The line meant to be a little bit shorter than the skirt. Yeah, so that's what I did here. And so that I cut it out, but the waist circumference remains the same. So I'm going to go over to go and hem the skirt and the lining, the hem. I'm going to be hemming it. But preferably, you can use a weaving machine to weave it, and then you can fold it once because this is a round skirt, like it's curvy. After sewing it, like the edge is not looking neat because you folded it into two. Preferably, best way to sew a curved part is to weave it first. So for the cutting of the sleeve, we folded our sleeve into two. Here I'm cutting it on the inner before placing my organza fabric on it, just as we are doing. So I marked my starting point line, and to that I'm going to be marking my full length. The full length of my sleeve is going to be 7 inches, but to that I'm adding 1 inch. The 1 inch is there is for joining this one is for joining the sleeve cap, and the other is for attaching the extra from the thumbnail. So that the sleeve has an extra attachment, like something like this, like a straight curve, like a band. Yeah, something like a band at the ending at the hem. So the other half is attaching that, so that I'm going to connecting my lines together, and then I came down by 3.5 inches for our sleeve cap. So before you cut your sleeve, you must have measured out your armhole circumference from your top. So I've measured out my own, and then I'm trying to place it. So to place it, what you have from your round um armhole minus 1.5 inches, place it, and then I'm using a free hand to cover my sleeve cap. After which you can measure out your curves to make sure that it's giving you what you have on your sleeve. Okay, just tilt your tape and measure out what you have there. That's also a guide. So we'll be placing a round sleeve divided by 2 inches. That's how to get a round sleeve measurement. Your sleeve once divided by 2 inches, place it, and then you can mark your allowance. I'm using 1.5 inches as always. So to that I'm going to connecting them. So because not the same thing for the other sleeve. So I measured out what I have at that sleeve hem, so I'll be able to cut out my hem. So I want my hem to be 1 inch, and to that 1 inch, it's going to be on fold. That's 2 inch on fold, and half inches for joining, for hemming for joining them together. That means 3 inches. So my sleeve length for my band, I measured that sleeve inches depth, and the length to be the same length as what I have from the measurement I got from my hem, my sleeve hem. And so that I'm going to be cutting it out. That's two for the two sleeves. So we're going to head over to lamination of our sleeve, like placing our hemming gum, just as we have been doing. Place our hemming gum, and then I'm going to be placing our organza fabric on it, ironing it out to make it to be one piece. We're going to laminating our sleeve, also sleeve, and also our sleeve band as well. So this is what we have after the laminations. That's our two sleeve, and this is our band. So you're working on our band first. Now band is going to be folded into two. The length is 2 inches, but the one that was band to be 1 inch. You're going to fold it into two. Fold it into two. So what we have here now is 1.5 inches when we fold it into two. And so 1.5 inches, I'm going to be folding the tip also, the tip by half of an inch. That's at the end we'll be having 1 inch. I'm going to use that iron to do that as well. Well, when I was folding in the half of an inch for the tip, I found out that it was being hard, like it wasn't laying very well because of the organza. So I stopped and I used another method to do that. You're going to see that when we go to our sewing table, I was able to, because I did not now sew it, like I ironed it, it was being hard. I left it and then I went to my sewing machine to sew. So this is our skirt, like the inner. That's me showing you the hem. I've hemmed the two sides, the lining and the main fabrics. That's what we have after hemming them. I didn't show you that earlier. This is how what we have. So over to the sewing of our sleeve. So when I told you that after I was trying to iron in my half of an inch, it was not laying flat. So I said to use this method. So I opened it up and I'll be sewing it by half of an inch. You get? So I'll be sewing by half of an inch. You know our waistband is meant to be 1 inch. So I'm measuring out my 1 inch and then I'll be sewing the other parts. So the sleeve cap. After which I'm going to be flipping it to the other side. You get? So it's still the same thing. Just attaching my band this way. So after sewing it, I'm going to be flipping to the other side. You see, and to that side I'm going to be folding it in like so. See what I'm doing? But first, let me sew the other side of the sleeve first. Doing the finishing. So what's the finishing of the sleeve? So I've got my pressing table, I've pressed it down, that's why it's laying that flat. And so you're going to be top stitching it, where you can make sure that your thread is going in between your sleeve cap and the band, so that the thread will not be showing if you don't want it to show, but if not, you can still top stitch it if you don't mind. So I'm going to be sewing it down, and that's for the two sleeves. So from the thumbnail, you notice that the sleeve has a buff, or let's say standing a little bit at the sleeve cap. So today we're going to be achieving that using our needle and thread, which are going to be gathering it. But we're not going to gather it from the tip of the sleeve. Somewhere around the sleeve cap, I'm going to be pleating it, like gathering it, like so. This is what I have after gathering it. See, it's giving that buff. It's already giving that buff. I'll be that standing effect. So we'll be attaching this to our armhole. So I loosened up the gather just to get the midpoint of my armhole of my sleeve. After which I'm going to gather it back. So I just want to get that midpoint. I'm going to be pinning it down to the shoulder joining at the sleeve, at the armhole. Then I'm going to gather it back. So that we're going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. So we're going to be putting the same thing for the other part of the sleeve. Graduate and then sew it in by half of an inch. So we're going to be shaping out our upper part of the sleeve of the top. And shaping it out before we are going to be attaching the downside. So I realized I did not shape out the back, like the half length of the front and back are the same thing. From the shoulder to the half length is the same thing, but it's not meant to be. Like the back half length is meant to be shorter. So for my measurement, it's 1.5 inches shorter than the front half length. So I'm placing the two back pieces together to make sure that it's equal. And after, from the center back, I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches. After which I'm going to slant it to the tip of the side back. You get what I'm saying? So the center, I'm shaping out the half length of the back. So I went up by half of an inch, and so that I'm going to slanting it to the side back. First, I'm going to be cutting it out. So I've done this while cutting it out, but it skipped my mind. So I just wrote Z, that's the zipper side. Just to make it more clear. This is the zipper side, that is the center back. After which I continue shaping the side of my top. So over to the downside of the gown. So this I already cut out a long strip of organza material. It's going to be a straight, just a long piece, straight. It's not going to be a 360-degree flay. So I'm going to be placing this on the inner that will cut on 360-degree flay. So to get how long you want, you'll be cutting out your organza, like the length. You can use your waist times 2.5 inches. That's your waist multiplied by 2.5 or 3 inches, based on how full you want it to be. And then I'm going to go over to hem it. I've already hemmed the down part of the organza, and to this I'm going to be placing it on the inner, which is a 360-degree flay. You get what I'm saying, right? Please have a question, do want to drop it on the comment section. I'll be there to attend to you, get. And if you watch this video up to now and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, turn your notification bell to get notification whenever I post a new video. Like, comment and share. Let's continue. So this is our 360-degree flay. This is in another lining. So this is going to be attaching our organza to it. So I'm going to be placing it on top of it. So now I'm going to be attaching the down part to the upper part. Notice I'm not sewing the lining for the down part. So I'm going to be attaching the flay. Already pleated the organza on the flay, right? So now I'm attaching it to the upper part of our gown. That's the upper torso at the half length. I'm going to sew it in by half of an inch because that's what we kept there, remember? So this is what we have after sewing it down. So to this we're going to be attaching our lining. So instead I'm going to attach the lining. I'm going to use the lining to cover up that rough edge at the waist. So to line, I'm going to be placing it. See how I folded the seam along one side, made to be a triangle before while attaching my down part of my sleeve. This is the lining. I'm going to be placing the lining as it will be facing the upper torso. Like I'm going to be placing it and using my pin to hold it down at the upper torso. See, I'm not placing it to be on the down torso. After sewing it like this, when I cover it up, it is going to when I flip it downwards, it's going to be covering the joining allowance at the waist. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'm going to be sewing this down by the same half of an inch. So over to the attachment of our zipper. So I'm going to be marking out where I want my zipper to stop. And from there, I'm going to be sewing it down. I'm going to be sewing it down before like giving it a tack and sewing it down. For which I'm going to come back to join my zip tip. Remember while cutting it, I used 1 inch for my zipper allowance. So I'm going to sewing it down by that 1 inch. Please kindly subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell, like, comment and share. Thank you. So we're almost done. So this is what we have. And so I'm going to be finishing up the zipper. Yeah, our gown is almost ready. Just to add our bow, I was able to video that. If you want to see a video of that, let me know in the comment section. And you're going to be attaching that bow using a pin down button. And this is our gown already. See you on the next one. Bye.